Oh, vey. It's a lot going on. I feel like I say it at the beginning of every one of these. This is Heidi Hancock with your weekly oracle reading. What week is it even? September 28th. The week of September 28th, moving into October. So I'll have the soul message out a little bit later this week as well. So the energy that I feel like we're dancing in right now is the simultaneous nature of things. It's like we have the old and the new sitting right next to each other, and it's pretty uncomfortable. The two images that I was shown last week that helped me kind of understand this simultaneous nature. So I've been getting this last couple days, this feeling of like the goo inside of a chrysalis. The way that we are kind of collapsing, like our whole system, and you could look at this internal and external. The external system's collapsing, our internal system's collapsing. So what I was seeing with the internal system is it was along the spinal column, like the whole spinal column and the way that it used to function is melting and collapsing and going into that goo, like that's inside of a chrysalis in the transformation stage, right? Being in the middle of it. And the other image that I got that was so perfect right next to it, well, let me finish that actually, because there was the goo in the column of the spinal column. And then when I pulled my view out just slightly, I noticed that, oh, there's scaffolding around this. So there is a new structure being built simultaneously while the one inside is collapsing. And the other image that I got, I lived in the Bay Area for a long time. And when they were rebuilding a section of the Bay Bridge, you know, they couldn't repair the one that was there. There was too much damage. So they had to create one right along the side of it and route everyone on the old route until the new one was ready. And then they would route people to the new and then take the other one apart. That's kind of what's happening to us. It's like the new structure has to start to get built before we can walk on it. And so what's so uncomfortable right now that I'm feeling is like we're being faced with all these old, really ancient archetypal patterns that are deeply embedded in our psyche, in our physical bodies. The really, really deep ones. I'm talking about core wounding here. It's like we're getting an opportunity, I say opportunity, tongue in cheek, because it is an opportunity. It's also very uncomfortable to be faced with all of these old ways that we have habitually done things that maybe have not been serving us. And they were even toxic patterns with family, with friends, just with the way of relating in all the things. And what feels like the opportunity is that because we're being presented with all of these different ways that those patterns show up, it's giving us space and time to notice the really uncomfortable piece that we have participated in it, or it couldn't have functioned. It couldn't have existed if we didn't participate in it. So it's like we're being presented with all of those really deep, dark, icky, old wounds so that we can sit with them and learn from them. And already it's like we're standing here and we're like, okay, I can see what I would have done. And I also can see that I don't like that and I don't want to do that anymore. So I can see a slight outline of the new thing, but I'm not really sure what it is yet, or I'm not really fully sure how to embody it. And so that's it. It's just this discomfort of the two things. I think last week, maybe it was in Women's Circle, I can't remember. I talked about being in like the space between space. It's like we're in time between time. It's like we're outside of the past and the present and the future. It's like we're, the old is here, the new is here, and we're not even in the now. We're like subterranean, like in some other timeline, getting upgraded and figuring out what all of this means and who are we and where are we going. And this is on a global scale. This is on a, this is on an external and an internal platform right now. So let's see what the cards have to say. Which one is it? Oh, interesting. We're going to go with the river. Oh, I love that. The image of that. It's like the power of the horse reflected, and it's upside down. It's like we are upside down right now. And where we're moving into this new space, it's like it's muddied and it's unclear. We can see where we were, but we can't see where we're going. So that's interesting. Let's see what this guy has to say. Here we go, the river. Okay, the stream, the flow, the current. Well, we're certainly in that. There is a reason so many rituals of change and rebirth take place in the river. It is forgiveness embodied in physical form. Without asking anything in return, the river washes away what is no longer necessary, smoothing over sharp edges and accepting all our mistakes and grievances. Once we step in, we are no longer in control. The river carries us farther down the stream of transformation than we planned to go. Its waters have a special gift for reflecting back to us a new and dreamlike vision. Once the tears have passed, we see ourselves as we haven't before, with a little more lightness, grace, and fluidity. Keep in mind the you that stands within. The river is the real you, full of deep emotion and potential. Nothing to hide, nothing to judge. May you drink in the sight of your true self. I mean, this could not be more perfect. So for all of September, we've been working with the two cards, the unseen and the self. And this is what we're seeing, that goo, that center thing that is dissolving, and it feels like, oh my God, are we going to die? Like, what is this? It's like, that isn't the real us, and it's underneath that. It's like, the real us lives in the flow between those two things. When light, acceptance, grace, reflection, forgiveness. When dark, torment of emotions, flooding, overwhelm. You can only resist the river for so long. Eventually, it will pull you toward change, so you may as well get in with style and grace. The river is emotion. When you are in its current, you will know it by the bursting forth of tears, laughter, song, despair. All the emotions flow in its current. I mean, this could not be more perfect. It's like we have to feel all of the feelings. We have to let it be here. And I think that's why, you know, the discomfort is here, right? It's like you can't learn something just by reading a textbook about it. You have to experience it. You have to have direct experience with it. So you have to be able to see how these old patterns that are playing out on the planet don't work anymore. And if we don't see that, if we don't take time to like actually witness that, then we just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. So it's like we have to experience it right now so that we can feel the toxicity of it. You know, the other thing, it's like the world right now is so polarized, and we have to start seeing that those polarizations are two ends on the same spectrum, and the answer is usually somewhere in the middle. So we have to be with that as well, and allow that to be, and allow the wisdom of the river and that sense of flow to let us move with the current. And what strikes me that is so necessary in order to be able to do that is to relax into it. We have to, instead of resisting it, we have to be willing to lie on the top of the river and let it take us. You know, that's such a key element, is letting go of resistance to wanting it to be different, to wanting it to stay the same. All of that. So anyways, like I said, I'll be working on the October soul message soon, probably have that out later in the week. And there's only one women's circle coming up in October, and it's October 15th, 7 p.m. Pacific. You can find that on my website, devilmagenta.com, or in my bio if you are looking at this on Instagram. All right, blessings. Namaste.